MVPs, or other words, the most valuable player understands the value of other players. I'll say that again. Today's title, MVPs understand the value of the other players. Our focus word for today is simply going to be teamwork. That's what we're going to deal with. And of course, like I always usually like to do, I like to give you a working definition of whatever our focus word is, which is teamwork. So if you had to put teamwork in the working form, it would sound something like this. Teamwork is a group of individuals working together towards one common goal and will not take the credit for what took others' efforts to achieve. I'll say that again. We're dealing with teamwork. A working form of teamwork is simply this. It's a group of individuals working together towards a common goal or objective and will not take the credit for what it took the efforts of other people to accomplish whatever the task was. Here's a great thought for you. I think this is a good time we can start out with this. Here's a great thought, a little inspiration or motivational thought if you want to stick it on your refrigerator or in your composition or wherever you have your little tidbits at to kind of keep you motivated. Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. And working together is teamwork. I like that. I like that so well I like to say it again for you. Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. And working together is teamwork. We are dealing with MVPs understand the value of the other players and so forth on the team. So our first major point for today, we're going to deal with, to become a MVP, most valuable player, we must gain and maintain a humble and teachable attitude that is cemented in respect, which recognizes the value of other players. Let me give you an example with that. Let's deal with the National Football League for a minute. And three people that have been well respected in their profession. One of them is retired. He's in the NFL Hall of Fame now, and there's two other ones I'm pretty sure if they continue on their career, they're going to also one day be in Canton, Ohio. But it's three guys that displayed this type of attitude, what I'm talking about, how they stayed humble, they gained it, they maintained it, they were teachable. I mean, they respect their other players, and players respect them. I remember growing up, the quarterback Dan Marino for the Miami Dolphins, and every time around Christmas time, there was a commercial for us dealing with the isotona gloves that he used to give a pitch for them and so forth. But the thing that I liked was so intriguing to where even though he could have taken all the credit because it's something about the way it is, the quarterback is usually one who's like the superstar or that we look as the superstar, but it was so many other people that added value for the quarterback to ought to be able to get the accolades. But one thing that Dan Marino, what he did was he included his linemen within his commercial. He just didn't take all the credit for himself. And if you remember the commercial, the ones that are around my age or a little bit older, you remember how when they gave him the isotona gloves and he would pass them out to his linemen. Another guy, let's bring it up into our time, a little bit more present, quarterback Tom Brady. You know, when we did the credit card commercial. Here's another pitch that is showing how this guy is truly a MVP, but how he recognizes the value of his linemen, because it's kind of I call it kind of just a spinoff from what Dan Marino did in the 80s to where now he's dealing with the credit card. But Tom Brady is also displaying and letting people know that all of his success that he has, he's contributed also to, that there was other people involved in that. So he gives the credit card to his linemen. And of course, the MVP of the National Football League for this year was Shaun Alexander with the Seattle Seahawks. And one of the things I like about this guy, I love to hear him talk. I love to see him do interviews. He has such a humble attitude. I mean, he's very complimentary of his teammates for his personal success. And that's a person that understands the value, and that's why a lot of those guys become MVPs, because they continue to compliment the people that added value and that had played such a part in their success, are highly looked upon and respected by their teammates. Why? Because they acknowledge the value and the hard work of their teammates. You know, quarterbacks, and I played quarterback in high school. Had a chance to go to college to play football, but I opted to go to play baseball. But and one of the things, so I know from experience, and as a quarterback, even though we get a lot of the praise and we get a lot of the accolades, but in all actuality, a quarterback, he knows that he's only as good as his offensive line. And so that's what these guys, Dan Marino and Tom Brady, within the two commercials, when they were including their linemen. Because if you keep your linemen happy, they're the ones that's going to open up the floodgates for this quarterback to do what he needs to do. And a good quarterback, an MVP quarterback, he's going to make sure that he complements his offensive line. You know, here's another thing. Since we're dealing with it, let's stay right here with the National Football League for a minute. It takes every player to execute their role in order for the team to score a touchdown. Now, let me show you what I mean by this. It takes every player to execute their individual role for the team to score a touchdown. In other words, the quarterback has to do his part. The tackle has to do his part. The guard has to do his part. The tight end has to do his part. The wide out has to do his part. The running backs have to do their part. And when all of these guys work collectively and they execute the play, they get the byproduct of what we call a touchdown. So it takes everybody working together toward one common goal to execute together in order for these guys to have a touchdown. And football is probably one of the most premier sports that demonstrates teamwork, what we're talking about, in order for them to get the success what they're looking for. It takes everyone's collective efforts to be executed in order to have that touchdown or to make that touchdown, or for us, when we like to see our favorite team, when the referee gives the indication that the team has scored. What